Thanks for that introduction, Mike. And it's just an absolute privilege and pleasure to be able to join you here this morning. And I just couldn't tell you how happy I am to be able to be in the role as Secretary of State for Education. I am somebody who went through the state school system, and everything that I've been able to achieve in my life was achieved on the back of the education that I got growing up in the 80s. So it's not only a role that I think is immensely important for our country, but it's an incredibly important role to me on a very, very personal level. And I think when I was growing up, I never planned to become an MP. And there are some MPs who, you know, you might hear when they were growing up and their bedroom would have posters of their political heroes. And mine didn't really have that, I have to say. My bedroom had posters of ABBA, me and David Wilkie when he came to our local swimming pool, and of course a little poster of Rotherham United. I think I've just about got over Newcastle beating us a couple of Saturdays ago. But that education was really what shaped me into being able to do everything that I've done, like so many people in the life that came after I left school. And when I sort of look back to what I was trying to achieve, I think the first thing for me was really just to get to university. No one in my family had been to university. And I saw some interesting research out about a month ago saying that children who know at 10 that they want to go to university are significantly more likely to make it. And instantly thought to myself that I was definitely one of those kids. There was never a time when I didn't think I wanted to go to university. But I never did think that my life would end up with me becoming an MP, a politician, and a Secretary of State. And I never planned to go into politics. And I can see that some of you are thinking, where did it all go wrong? You know, it was all working out so well, great career, and then politics. But I think the role that I've got now is precisely why I came into politics, because it's about for me, it was about being able to make a difference. I do my MP surgery every single week. Being able to improve lives in my local community as an MP is one of the reasons I get up every day, and being able to do this role now adds on to that even more. And what I'm talking about really is that for me, my role is a vocation. But I think that's probably the same as how you feel about the roles that you do in your schools as school leaders. It's much, much more than just a job. And I think, you know, you're people who are doing another role where the ability to shape lives and to shape people's futures in a constructive and positive way, you know, is really an incredible opportunity. And that's what drives me, but I think that's probably what drives you too. And, you know, I don't know whether my teachers looking ahead when they were writing my reports at Oakwood Comprehensive School would have seen me doing this role today. I think looking back at my reports as I did the other day, it does seem like I went through a bit of a talkative phase in the year before I did my final exams. But they were teachers who shaped my lives, and that's why I was so keen to honour this commitment, because I will come on to say how important I think it is for me to continue a dialogue with school leaders, with teachers, and that's how I'm probably going to be able to do a great job in this role. So there's a few points that I really wanted to make. I mean, first of all, in a housekeeping way, I mean, the department's bigger. We now have higher education, further education, apprenticeships, skills, all under one roof, with the rest of the DFE brief that was there before around early years and schools. And I think that's an incredibly powerful opportunity for all of us now, because really we have a chance to bring all of this together, all of the policy. We can make sure we break down any of the silos that were there. I think we can really manage some of those important areas of transitions for young people. Some of them were already within the DFE between primary and secondary, but I think those next steps that young people take as they start to make career choices, as they start to think about whether they're going to do A-levels or other further education, whether they are thinking now of an academic route onto university or whether they're starting to think about a more technical route, those transitions now are all under one roof. And I think we can do a much better job of making the whole of that so much greater than simply the sum of the parts. And we can really look in the round for our young people and the lives that they are charting ahead for themselves. And I wanted to just briefly focus on 2 or 3 areas that I think really matter. First of all, there has been significant reform over the last 6 years, and you'll be well aware of the stats. Some of you have helped create them. The 1.4 million more children who are now in good or outstanding schools. That's an absolute triumph. That is literally 1.4, nearly 1.5 million children whose lives are set up that bit better because they're in better schools that are giving them a better start. And we want to continue with all of those reforms, and that's happened not least through the hard work of many people in this room. And indeed, if you look at the stats, the education stats that have just come out this morning at 9:30, what they show is that schools are continuing to improve, but actually schools in the NorthEast have done better than the average across England, which I think is a real testament to the work that's going on here. But we all recognise that there are still 1 million children in schools that are rated not good enough by Ofsted. So alongside continuing the work to raise overall standards, I really want to focus on how we can lift up those schools and those children to make sure that they're not left behind. And I just had a fantastic visit to Prudhoe High Community School, and it's a school that has gone from being in special measures to now being good, and they're aiming to be outstanding. And they achieved that through a huge amount of hard work, some fantastic leadership from the head that's at that school. They've got a new school building, which I'm sure going forward will be one of the ways that they're able to kick on, not just from being good, but then to move on to being outstanding. But those teachers have led the change at that school, and they've been able to do that not just on their own as a team, but through working with other schools around them. And I think this issue of school improvement and how we really unlock a race to the top is an area that I want to especially focus on. And last week at Party Conference in Birmingham, I announced these first 6 opportunity areas where we really want to see how we can pull together not just additional support and work for teachers inside school, and how we can turbocharge a lot of the work that's already underway. We know what good looks like in many respects. It's how we can have it happen across the board, and particularly in parts of the country where it's most needed. And we want to marry that up then with work in broader communities, with civil society and mentoring. We want to get businesses more involved on work experience, traineeships, apprenticeships, so that we can have children with their sights really set high, as well as support inside schools for teachers to be able to do better. And indeed, I know you're going to hear from Sir Nick Weller later on today, and I think the work that he's doing now, and he's been all over the place actually, but I think his review is going to play a really important role for me in not only putting more evidence on the table about where we need to get to, but also more analysis around how we get there and how we really do lift more schools, but particularly the ones that need it the most. I think, secondly, I referred to it briefly, this broader department that we've got now means that we can really look beyond the reforms that have done so much to raise standards and strengthen the academic route that many young people are going through. But to me, it's also important, frankly, that we improve the more technical education route that more than half, actually, of our young people end up following. I don't think we will have a country that works for everyone, or an education system that works for everyone, when it's innately focused really around an academic route, which maybe civil servants follow, maybe most ministers follow to university, and maybe most certainly many of you follow too. I think it's time to now really challenge ourselves to pull together the different parts of the technical education system that we've got, and make them work for young people who want to follow a route that isn't just about knowledge and perhaps the more pure academic route going on to university, but is one that they want to blend knowledge with skills, and that they have a different sense of how they want that final stage of their, or next stage as I should say, of their education to continue.